All right, here we are with another podcast from the Michigan Institute of Athletics. I'm James Gray, joined today by a professional fighter that drove all the way across the state to be here with us. It's going to be a super exciting podcast. If you haven't heard of this gentleman not yet, you're not following the Michigan MMA scene, but I'm joined by Calvin Harbaugh. Calvin, tell us a little bit about your background, where you are right now as a professional fighter, and then, what was your start in martial arts as a kid, and, how did you progress to where you are today?
Yeah, so I'm 2-1 as a professional, 5-0 as an amateur. I had a short amateur career. But yeah, it all started back when I was 6 years old. My dad got me into jiu-jitsu after watching UFC 1. Hoist Gracie tapped all those dudes out, and he was like, "Man, I got to get my kid, doing that." So yeah, I was, had immediate success in jiu-jitsu. I think I won my first tournament. It was on the East Coast, New York, Anaga, and from there, I competed a lot. I was a 27-time national jiu-jitsu champ, which is,
27-time Naga champion.
yeah, as a child. So, obviously, like for me, that drive and that fierceness that has always been there. That will to, just go out there and dominate. Like ever since I was a young kid, I had that fierceness, that intensity that I don't think a lot of people have. Some people never. Some, even in this sport, MMA, you got the guys that got all the physical tools, but mentally maybe they're not willing to go out there and finish somebody. But, ever since I was a kid, I always had that. And I grew up, a middle-class family. We didn't have a lot of money, but it's not like I was struggling. I just always had, a fire in me. And it led me astray a lot, though, too. Sometimes, you got that in your heart, and, you think you know everything. Like I said, 27-time national champ, but, my dad made me start focusing on wrestling because he thought it was going to be my ticket to college, but I never made it to college, man, in high school. By the time I was a sophomore in high school, that kid, that fierce athlete, was no longer focused on athletics. He was focused on, girls, on drinking. Ended up getting kicked out of school, really kicked out of 2 schools, because the second school, they kind of allowed me to transition into an alternative school. But, yeah, just didn't like to follow rules and just had that mindset that, I could go out there, I could go, party and still kick everybody's ass. I'm a badass. It's going to make me more of it. Like, I had such a delusional, I think a lot of kids, struggle with that. They don't really get it. But for me, God has played a huge role in my life and getting me to realize some of these things. And I'm actually very grateful that at such a young age I was so deeply humbled by life. I've been to jail over my birthday, Christmas, having to hear my mom and my grandparents on the phone on your birthday, in a jail cell alone with a bunch of people you don't want to be around. That was a huge turning point in my life when I was 18, when I went to jail. I think I stole a bottle of booze or something like that, something so stupid. But yeah, that was a huge turning point in my life to realize this is not where I want to be. And it's like I had so much going for me. It's like I didn't realize it. I didn't realize how much I had to lose until I lost it. I didn't realize how much I loved the sport. I thought I was doing it for everybody else. And you're sitting there alone and you got nothing going for you and you're like, what the hell have you done? And yeah, it gets me a little emotional thinking about it because, I like to think I'm far from that place, but it's a constant reminder in my brain, when I'm going through training. And I've had, even in my short MMA career, I've had trials. Like even when I was 5-0, just beat the number 1 guy out of Alabama. He was a number 1 55-pounder. I thought I couldn't be touched. I was living in a bubble, James. I was living in a bubble. I wasn't training with the right guys that were going to push me. I thought I could beat anybody. Went pro, was dominating the whole fight, took his back within a minute of the fight, and, the second round comes, he's still standing there, and I got nothing left. And leading up to that fight, I'm a guy that shows up to practice every day, but you get to these points where, if you're not in the right place mentally, you're not putting in the proper work and training. You might be there for 2 hours, but are you really pushing it? Are you cutting out early? Are you really paying attention to what you need to be paying attention to? Are you grinding? Do you really? It's like with that Tyler Stevens fight, it brought out the best in me because I thought, this dude might kick my ass. I was like, this dude, he's got some legitimate skills. So, and that pushes you. But when you don't have that and you start to get that big head, you don't take that same intensity to every session. And I'm still learning about how to cultivate my mind because that's so much more important. You can have all the physical skills. I showed when I was a kid, when everybody's on that baseline that I can be one of the best in the world physically, but mentally, are you going to be able to hold up? Are you going to be able to go 3 rounds? Are you going to be able to go 5 rounds? Like anybody can fight for 3 minutes, but can you fight for 15? Can you fight for 25? And that's what I've been focusing on, and really making sure that everything in my life reflects my spirit and who I want to be, where I want to go. I've got so many great people in my life right now and that I'm so grateful for. And every day I try to take those moments to appreciate those people, to look up and be thankful, man. And I get to these states mentally where it's just like, it's such a blissful feeling. And I'm so desperate to stay in that place. These other things in my life that I thought mattered, being the guy or, status, going out, people knowing you, that shit does not matter at all. What matters is, what's keeping you grounded, what's in your heart, So the Calvin Harbaugh that's sitting across from you right now is extremely, extremely focused. And, I think I showed that in my last fight. I was much more calm. I didn't try to go out there and run across the ring and try to dominate somebody, feel like I needed to dictate or dominate every aspect of the fight. And when I started, getting out of that bubble, and, God bless Blues Gym. It's where I started. But, sometimes I think in this sport, loyalty, money is not everything. You need to take bets on yourself. And sometimes free training ain't always the best training. And you need to go find those people that are going to push you, that are going to put you on your butt, that are going to keep you sharp, that are going to get you tired, and so you can really go to those places, and develop that mentality that you're going to need, to eventually, I want to fight the best guys in the world. And like, I always had that ambition, and I think that's why I went pro so young, so early in my career, because I really felt like I could beat these guys, like I was there. But then, you run into these guys and you realize that, Calvin, there's a lot of levels out there that you need to, open up your mind to, and you have a lot to learn.
So really, early on in life, you experienced a lot of success. You right from a young age, you were the guy. You were the guy that was dominating wherever you went to. You were the athlete that was successful. You had almost experienced the heights that you'd chase as an adult really early on as a kid. So maybe somewhere along the line, you might have lost a little sight of that.
And I was, even like as a kid, I remember like I was the guy that when live wrestling came, I was 100% ready to go. But leading up to that, everything just came so easy for me. And I think that in life, sometimes, people with the most blessings also have the most trials. And I definitely experienced that a lot.
So then having those tough spots in your life where you said, like, going to jail and everything, you've been able to break out of that, see the different perspectives in life. You saw the young kid that experienced what life should be, and then you experience what life can be if you go down the wrong road. Now, all of a sudden, in a weird way, it's like MMA is saving your life. You've found something that you can dedicate 100% to, that you're like, you know what, I can experience that success to a far greater level that I had as a kid, and I can change things. I can leave a story. I can create a legacy.
And it's always been a part of my life, and I think, I think I said this to you before, but our passion in life saves us. And if you got something out there, to the people listening that you want to do, you have to focus on that. And you need to be willing to make the changes and live a disciplined life where you might taste it, but you'll never be able to really hold it. And I still haven't done in this sport even a fraction of what I want to do. So I've got, a lot of wood to chop, and I'm just focused on that.
What's your record right now as a professional?
2-1.
Yes, you're 2-1, and you just come off a huge LFA victory. Talk a little bit about that fight. Was it a short notice, or was it a camp that you had? We're coming out of the most wild year of all of our lives. 2020 has been a roller coaster, to say the least. Talk a little bit about LFA's fight.
It was difficult, man. Like, I didn't really have a legitimate training camp, Black Lion, Jiu-Jitsu. We were able to train, but right now the doors are shut. So really, for this last fight, I hadn't fought. I think I forget what the Preto fight was. That must have been, it was the last Lights Out show. So I don't know exactly when that was, but there was about 5 months there. And I remember sitting back, it's just me and my girl. We're trying to figure out, we know how to stay in shape, but to be able to improve your game, is so important, is to be able to continue to evolve. And guys that I remember sitting back, and getting discouraged, thinking, when is this gonna, when am I gonna have an opportunity? All my connections were in Michigan, and Michigan, I can't even start talking about what our governor is doing in this state, because seriously, I'm afraid they'll put me on some type of list, bro. But it's like, it's awful. You got guys out there trying to run a gym, aren't allowed to run a gym, but still have to pay rent at their facility. So it's like, it's literally like taking people's dreams away from them. But I saw guys like you, like Chalbeck, in his home gym, beating a bag, sweat dripping off his head, and I was like, you know what? I can't sit back and make these excuses. I got to go find these people. I got to go find this work, because, where there's a will, there's a way. And week's notice, I got the LFA fight. I knew that there was an opportunity that could possibly be coming, because Matt Frendo had let me know. He offered me at first was a 125-pound fight. And, I've struggled to make 35 in the past. Now I'm walking around at like 146 pounds. I'm a lean, mean, killing machine. But there's been times in my career where I struggled to make 35. So when I saw, 125, I was just like, can I make it? Maybe. Can I fight afterwards? I don't know. So it's a huge fight for me. I don't know if I can do that. But I said, you get me an opportunity at 135 pounds, 145 pounds, anything. I don't care who it is. And that's how I've been for me. If you go look at the guys I fought in my career, I've always wanted to take the biggest possible fight. A guy, I don't know if anybody really knows about him or if you know about him, but Sean Desai, he was he's helped Kevin Lee in his career. And I remember at some point young in my career, somebody got me on the phone with him like, man, this kid Calvin, he's got skills. And ain't nobody in Michigan know who the hell I was. They don't know about me growing up tapping people out when I was frickin' 10 years old. They don't give a damn about that. But they knew I was in there pushing everybody, and they're like, holy shit. So they tried to get me in touch with this guy who had helped out Kevin Lee, and they said, one thing about Kevin Lee is every fight that he took, he wanted to fight a champion, because the bigger the risk, the greater the reward. And guess what? You can go out there, and the best fighter don't always win the fight. I learned that in my pro debut. I got all the respect in the world for Mike Johnson, but he's not a better fighter than me. You can go out there and get beat by these guys that aren't better, so why not go out there and fight the best possible guys that you can fight? And, that's what I've tried. That's the legacy I want to leave, is just to be one of the gamest guys that you possibly did. It don't matter who he's fighting, I'm in there and I got a chance. I've been an underdog in, 90% of my fights. 90%. Is it because people think I suck? I don't think so. I think it's because I'm constantly reaching for those guys that they think, are badasses. Give me all those guys, man, because eventually I want to be amongst the best guys in this sport, and there's only one way to get there. I was on Joe Burrow. I don't know if you know who Joe Burrow is. He's a quarterback for LSU, just won a Heisman, won a national title. The only way to get to the top of the mountain is through everybody else. So, that's just how it is.
No, I can attest to that. I've watched you that your whole career. I watched you, whoever had hype, whoever had,
That's who I'm calling out. That's who I'm calling out. And, these guys Mondo, and we actually linked up in South Dakota. I worked with his coach. He's a very, very talented fighter. I actually plan on going down to Lansing on Sunday and working out with him at his home gym. So I can't wait for that, because I'm the type of guy, I love to compete, man. And, when I called him out, it's just because show me who you think is the guy that can't be beat, that's the best guy around, and let me show you that I can go in there and I can beat these guys, man. That's what my career, I want it to be about. I want it to represent as somebody that's willing to go out there and put it all on the line and risk everything, every fight, because in this sport, we never know when our last fight's going to be. We never know when we're going to get that injury that takes us out of the game. Maybe something happens in our life where we can't know. Maybe we're forced to take up another job. We can no longer compete. We need to support somebody that we care about. Who knows what God has in store for us? But while I'm here and while I'm doing this sport, I want to put it all on the line. And I just can't wait to see, what's next. There's a tentative offer on the line for LFA September 4th against a dude from Rufus Sport Academy. He's undefeated. Really, in my opinion, he's untested, but he's going to have a test if he takes that fight September 4th and he signs on that dotted line and he's staring at, like, even Joaquin Murcielago said when he's holding pads for me on top of the parking structure in South Dakota in the middle of nowhere, he's saying they called the wrong guy. They called the wrong guy. Because I had 15% chance to win going in that fight. Nate Murrow, he had fought for LFA before as an amateur. He's a flashy guy, flying knee and guys in the head and shit. And they said they called the wrong guy. And, I believe that. If my nickname wasn't Hollywood, it'd be Cinderella Man because I want to fight the best guys.
Man, what I'm just witnessing as you're sitting across from me is you just exude passion. You have confidence brimming in all of your words. Where does that come from? Did you just develop that as a child when you started winning, or did you have that even before you started being successful? You were just born with that energy of like, man, I'm gonna be the guy.
I just think I have a huge chip on my shoulder, and I'm not exactly sure where it comes from. I'm Irish Sicilian mix, so that's a fiery combination, to put into somebody. And I definitely think I got warm blood. I really believe I was built for this. And you talk about passion. I got a passion for a lot of things in life, the people in my life. And I truly believe that on this road that I'm on, I'm destined to be that guy that makes the right choices, that lives a disciplined life, that builds himself up to something that is strong, to be looked up to, and inspires the people around him and does things that are special because I have the strength within me to stay the course and to help people when I can. And, that's it, yeah.
Were you born and raised here in Michigan? Where's your hometown?
No, I'm from, I was born in Newark, Delaware, grew up in Pennsylvania, grew up wrestling in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you know anything about,
I grew up in Philadelphia.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm a huge Eagles fan, man.
Yeah,
I should have worn my Eagles hat, man. I didn't know.
My whole family's Eagles fans. I grew up in Philadelphia, right outside. I was born in Brill Street in St. Mary's Hospital in downtown Philadelphia.
Wow.
And I moved out here in my late teenage years, but I'm a Philly boy.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I did not know that. I think maybe we talked about it before, but it's news to me now. I
no Michigander here, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so talk a little bit about your management team, the people that are guiding your career, because one of the toughest things, I'll be honest with you, is I've seen a lot of fighters that are fighters to the core that don't make it to the top of the sport because they take some, business decisions or brand decisions or fight decisions, and they just take a course away from what yields the final result. But you have a good team of people around you. I've heard nothing but good things coming out of the Liam. I forget the name of the management company.
Cage Side Management.
Cage Side Management. That's what it is. Talk a little bit about those people, what it's been like working with them, what made you make the decision that, they're going to control the steps in the future, because the way I look at it is, you're a fire. You want to fight. You'll fight anyone at any time. You need someone, there by your side going, hey, we need to make the right decisions, get him fights, get him in the ring, keep him active, keep him going, make the career decisions that get him to the top. You don't want to be shelved. So talk a little bit about the team that's around you.
Well, a big reason why I signed with them is because they were offering me opportunities during these COVID times, and I didn't have the connections outside of Michigan to get me a fight. So, and these guys are offering you fights, whether it's Bellator. Our relationship started when they offered me a fight in Bellator with Cass Bell. I don't know if you know about. He just fought Rufian Stotts. And when I had an opportunity like that, even if it wasn't 100% concrete, just somebody that could bring that opportunity, I saw value in that, because I wasn't getting any opportunities. I was just training like you said, I took that last fight in LFA on a week's notice, and I was just every day training my ass off, praying to God that something came together for me, because I knew that I was ready. And,
And let's talk a little bit about the Blues Gym camp, because I know that you've shown in social media posts and everything, you've shown extreme loyalty and love for those people. Talk a little bit about Blues Gym, how long you've trained there, how you got started with them, and just shout out the gentleman that helped, be a part of the journey to where you are today.
Yeah, Blues Gym is where I actually got my start at a little gym called Malkoch MMA, which was only open for about literally 5 months. And I used to run down there too. It was right down the street from my house. And I knew that I grew up wrestling.
Who was teaching there? I hadn't heard of it.
Dino Malkoch. He's not even a guy anymore. But, he had opened up a small gym. I had a buddy that actually worked dispatching with him. He's like, oh, my boss is opening up a gym. I was like, man, well, I always wanted to fight. I remember when I got my collarbone broken at a party. It's a long story. But
You can tell it if you want, man. Anything goes on this podcast.
So yeah, I was at a party one day, and I think she's heard the story, so it's whatever. But I was at this party, and I was actually, I guess this chick that I was messing around with had a boyfriend. I didn't realize it at the time, but yeah, I stepped outside. I was smoking cigarettes at the time. That's how far away I was from fighting. You know, I wasn't living a disciplined life. I was doing whatever Calvin wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it. But yeah, I stepped outside to have a smoke. Next thing you know, I'm getting picked up, dropped on my shoulder, and all I seen is feet. All I see is just feet. Boom, boom, boom. And luckily, that night, I was with some Marines. And if I wasn't with those guys, I probably would not be here talking with you, because this was not in the best part of town. I forget what street it was, but it's not important. But yeah, there was a lot. It became literally like a race thing, and it became like black versus white.
You got straight up jumped. I mean,
I got completely
gang beat.
jumped. I got my collarbone busted. Ended up getting. They tried to take me to a hospital that night because my arm was just dangling. I refused to go. I'm not sitting in the hospital all night by myself. I'll take my ass home. We'll go in the morning. And yeah, I remember that happening. And I'm sitting there sitting across from the surgeon. He's like, you know, there's a 30% chance that your shoulder collarbone is going to be not functioning the same way as it should. And I'm just like, what? I have no idea what that means. I'm like, so should I get the surgery? And this doctor's looking at me square in the face like, well, I can't, I don't have like the legal standing to tell you exactly what you should do, but all I can say is that there's a 30% chance that it's not going to work right. And I'm sitting there thinking, and they say, there's an old saying that says, before you even know what you're going to be, you're already trying to protect it. And that's what I was trying to get to with this story is, I'm sitting there, never even thought about really fighting, but I'm sitting there thinking, I want to be a pro fighter one day, so if my shoulder is going to be messed up, that's going to be a problem. I need to get it fixed.
That's almost like a calling, man. You something deep down in you, while you're sitting there in the hospital, you're sitting across from a doctor, some part of your subconscious is going, hey, that's got to work because I got things to do. I've got a career path that I'm going to follow.
I don't know if the camera picks up those goosebumps, but
no, it does.
100%.
I mean, you absolutely, literally, he has a full sleeve of goosebumps right now because that's a story from the heart.
Yeah, and so I was trying to protect that. And
let's talk a little bit about the future, man. What's next? I mean, obviously you said you possibly have that fight. How do you see this year ending? What are your goals in the immediate future, 6 months? Where do you see yourself a year from now? Just talk a little bit about the future that's coming up.
I'm just excited to be in this place where, you know, God bless Blues Gym and Dino Newville and everything that place did for me, but it became a place where it's like when somebody tells you that you absolutely can't go anywhere else to get training or to improve, and there aren't the people there, you're literally the first pro fighter that they ever had come out of that gym, and there's no way to prepare, and you guys are kind of doing it on the fly, and yeah, I'm in there boxing, and I'm fighting it, and I feel tough, and I feel good, but I'm not really improving. It's a problem. So the position I'm at now is, you know, I'm pretty much in control, and I've got a lot of coaches, you know, whether it's Black Lion, Jiu-Jitsu, TDS Fitness, I can go around, whether it's going over, you know, going down to Lansing and training with Mondo in his home gym. I'm in this position now where I'm able to put myself in position to be successful. And the biggest thing I'm looking forward to this year, even beyond the fighting, is just to be in this place where I don't have that, you know, negative energy. I don't have that pressure on me, and I can literally put myself in positions to be successful and get the best work. And I know even just by how much I've improved that is going to just keep escalating, you know.
So in a way, it's almost Team Calvin now. You can literally structure your life around what is going to promote the best version of you.
And every day I wake up, James, it's how can I get better today? How can I do something to get better? And I'm having so much fun, and I'm literally like waking up every day so excited to get after and do this thing that, you know, we get to do and do this sport that we love. And, you know, like I said, Christian Rodriguez, September 4th, LFA, you know, I get you're training with Duke Roufus, you know, and, you know, much respect to all those guys, the Pettis brothers. I think they're all, you know, badass dudes. But when you stand across the cage from me, September 4th, you're going to have a fight on your hands, sir. And I'm going to do whatever I can to prepare myself and be the baddest dude possible for that moment. And I'm not only going to be the baddest dude physically, but mentally, spiritually, I'm going to make sure I have everything together. I'm going to put myself in the best position to kick your ass, dude.
Well, I hope that fight happens now because I'm already excited about it. I want to see that go down. Let's shift to the fact that you're in a unique situation. You're dating a woman that's in the mixed martial arts world as well. I've experienced that, several other fighters, and it's a massive help because someone that understands the passion, the dedication, the commitment that goes with this sport is a crucial element. When you have somebody on the outside that's constantly like, you're going to training again? You're going to do this?
Literally, my last girlfriend, she would sit outside the gym, James. She would sit outside the gym and blare on the horn. Say I'm there, trying to hit pads and prepare for a fight. She's sitting outside the gym. She's sitting outside the gym blaring the horn. Blaring the horn.
Yeah, that's got to go.
And it did. And for a long time, that was a huge distraction early in my career. A huge distraction. So to have somebody now that just supports everything I do, it's literally like, it's almost like a mind fuck because it's like, this is what a relationship can be. This is how good things can be. This is how much better and stronger I can feel. Yeah. To any fighter out there that's in a bad relationship, with somebody that doesn't understand what your goals are or isn't willing to understand, you got to run for the hills because at the end of the day, this is your life, and you don't want to look 10 years from now and have nothing, and she leaves your ass for the next guy, and you're stuck there with, oh shit, I built my life around this person that doesn't really support me, doesn't really give a fuck about me, so. And having her waking up, having somebody that will wake your ass up at 6 a.m. and say, we're going for a run, or, we're doing this, that's making sure, if there's somebody in the gym, too, that's outworking me, it's her, dude. Like, you have no idea how hard this woman works. Like, she is a complete animal, like, and it's just like that excellence radiates, and it touches everything. It's like just like when you're around bad people, that grease gets on everything. When you're around somebody that lives excellence, you can't help but get on you, because then now she's inspiring you. You want to be the one to inspire her. You should be inspiring her. So you better, keep your shit together, son.
Yeah, the energy is infectious. I lived it before with Amanda Cooper. I've seen a lot of other couples do it. When people are really dialed in on the same path, it's like you're both supercharging each other. You're not just one person on a goal now. You're a team. You're that squad of lions out chasing on the hunt, tracking down the goals. And that it is powerful, and I can see it. Right when you walked in the door, I didn't even have to ask if it was your girlfriend. You guys exude that good energy, that go-get-it mentality. It's awesome to see, man.
Right.
So last thing, man, just anybody that you want to shout out on this podcast, anything else that you want to cover, sponsors that have backed you, people that have been there by your side, just anything that you want to capture in this moment in time. This is your time that when people are listening in and they're listening to the Calvin Harbaugh story and they want to know, why do I follow this young man? What about him is taking this man to the top? So I'm witnessing him on television. Anything that you want to say, let's cover it right now. Let's shout out the people that have backed you, and then, just we'll wrap this thing up.
Everybody right now that is, working with me in my life, that, knows the goals that I have, that is helping, to support that dream. I'm telling you right now that I'm not going to drop the ball. I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that that I have the platform one day to make the impact that I can make, in this life. Life is very short. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure that I put myself in position to be successful and live what I speak. Because, there's a great Bible verse that has been really sticking with me. It's Proverbs 10:4. I sow, so now I'm reaping tenfold. I'm living this life, James. And, Cage Side Management, Liam DeMond, those guys I'm looking up to, Brett Martin, Kenny Cross, those are guys I looked up to, like when I was going to the events at Lights Out that I looked up to and I seen in the cage. I was like, wow, did I marvel at? And now, I'm on the same team as them. So even when I was walking through sorry to switch gears a little bit, but I'm walking through the hotel, the Holiday Inn in South Dakota, and I see Pat Miletich. It's like, dude, I grew up watching this guy. Like I told you how UFC 1 got my dad, to get me into martial arts. I'm sitting there and I'm, amongst these people that I truly look up to, and that's how I know I'm in the right place. So, Cage Size Management, Chad Pomeroy at Black Lion, Johnny Grigwire, my striking coach. He's somebody that, is reaching out to me, making sure, that, I'm drilling my techniques. He's literally, while our gym, Black Lion, is shut down, is, renting out a space that we're going to go be able to continue to train, on private property, so we can actually do the work that we need to do. Because for the month of August, Black Lion Jiu-Jitsu is shut down. We tried to keep things going. There was guys literally training in mass, people inside, outside, but the health commission is not allowing it to happen. You still got to pay rent, but you can't have fighters training there. So and the thing is, I'm a professional fighter. This is the United States of America, not the United States of Michigan. So it's like I have opportunities in other states that I need to prepare for. So you to say that it's illegal for me to do that is completely traitorous. So that's all I had to say about that. But yeah, everybody that's working with me, I'm really excited for Jamal to get back from Las Vegas so I can continue, Touch 'em Up University. That guy's mental, he's got all the physical skills, but, mentally, technically, is a completely, on a different level than most people. So being able to work with him and be around these guys, is absolutely amazing. So
now, if people want to follow your career, or someone maybe wants to back you, sponsor you, how do they follow you on social media? How do they reach out to you? How do they get in contact with you?
On Instagram, it's at Hollywood Hardball. Twitter, at Hollywood Kid GR. You can even, reach out to me on Facebook. I've got a fan page, Calvin Hollywood Hardball MMA. So.
Awesome, man. Last question on the podcast that I want to record. Where'd the name Hollywood come from? Was it just from, you've always had that swag and that style since you were young, and who bestowed the name Hollywood upon you? Or did you give it to yourself? You said, you know what, I know I'm Hollywood.
I think it sounds good, man. Hollywood Hardball. It flows, and it kind of just chose me, man. So yeah, I've always just had that kind of, I've always just kind of exuberated that, so.
Yeah, no, you absolutely do. You have that aura of like Hollywood, going to the top, high energy, high passion. You're somebody that'll lift the room.
But guess what? When I do make it to the top, I will not be in Hollywood. That's speaking to the platform that I have and what, I'm almost, selling out for this dream. I'm giving it everything I can to reach that stage, to reach that pinnacle. But I'm telling you right now, when I'm in the UFC and I get my first $1 million fight, I will still be on that farm. I'll still be getting up at 6 a.m., running, hitting those gravel roads, those country roads, and breathing in that good country air. Because to me, staying grounded, staying humble, and making sure your feet are on the mindfulness, people, you got to look into that, because you got to be aware of your feet on the ground. And, so that nickname, don't get too caught up in that, because I've gotten caught up in it before, wanting to go out and be that, that guy, Hollywood, It has a lot of different meanings to me. I got a shirt that says Hollywood is singing, which means using my platform to express myself, my art form, martial arts, to express myself. So.
Well, you know what? If you ever fall from that, I have a sound bit right here that I can pull up and shoot it over to you and say,
hey, Mr. Gray,
Cal.
Mr. Gray, please do it. Mr. Gray, please do it, because there's times in our life where we all need guidance, and we all need to remember, where we're going.
Just always to stay the young man that you are right here, right when you're at the top and you have a much bigger platform. You have people that look up to you all around the world, go, hey, I'm the same guy. You can catch me out on the road. You can see me and my girl on the mats training. I'm the same guy. That's a story we can all believe in. That's a story we can all support. So, man, awesome. This was stellar. 35 minutes of just clean, organic, quality conversation about passionate people in life. We need more of that. We need more people chasing their goals. We need more people going after things they care about. You know what I mean? Sir. This life's supposed to be fun.
And no matter where you go in life, guys, it was my birthday going into Christmas, and I'm sitting in a jail cell with nothing going for me. And now it's like I've built myself into something that is going to, it's going to be hard for somebody to take this thing from me, man. It's going to be really hard. And I take great pride in, being able to live this life. So, I'm very focused right now, and I really appreciate you having me out here to your beautiful facility. I can't wait to go, get a little bit of training in, and, I really appreciate you, man. Everything you're doing in the community, being willing to be a voice to people, to be a voice of inspiration. You might not think some of the people are watching, but people are watching, man. Somebody like me, when this COVID shit hit, and you start to see, like, where's this shit going? Some people might not see an avenue or see a way, but they see other people doing it. They're like, you know what? I can do that. I can find a way. If there isn't a way, make the fucking way, dude. you know?
I appreciate it very much, man. We'll wrap this thing up. Once again, that's Calvin Hollywood Harbaugh. Make sure to follow him on social media, support his career. Hopefully that LFA fight goes down and we can all watch that showdown. So thank you again, brother.